Cypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute honor to introduce the man, the myth, the legend behind such an amazing, intriguing film. A film that has not only done numbers, not only has just done so much amazing work. Went from virtual screenings to real life screenings to selling out, Genesis Cinema. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend behind such an unique, intriguing film. Emeka, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good. Great intro. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm trying to do you justice because you are a man of many talents and you've done a lot. So first of all, can you tell the audience more about yourself before we get into the actual topic?
Yes, I'm known by the name Stories by Emeka, and that's because I'm a storyteller. So I've been writing for the last 12, 13 years. So I'm always in a space of thinking about stories, thinking about plots, and thinking about how to engage an audience through engaging and interesting narratives. So my journey started in 2011. I've been working with young people for 20 years. I started off at 18 and then done so many different things working with young people throughout the years. But the most notable things has been a youth worker in Hackney. And then over the last 12 years, I've been a teacher in further education. So it's given me a real insight to a lot of the issues and a lot of the things that many young people go through. Obviously, at the start of my career, I fit into that bracket myself as a young person. And obviously, the older I got, it's like you start to see things from a different perspective, but still connecting with those young people that you're working with. So yeah, it's been a journey. So I've been doing that. And obviously on the side, just writing and writing some more. So I just love writing.
And wow, that's amazing because there's so many different questions I want to ask within that, but this will be like a 2-hour interview easily. So in a way, you kind of answered one of my questions because I was going to say, you know, you work within education and you work with young people. One of the main, obviously the main topics that we want to talk about is stolen dreams.
Yep.
So for those of us, for them, the audience, who don't know what stolen dreams is, can you please give like a brief sort of compact description as to what it is?
Stolen Dreams is a narrative piece, a very dialogue-centered piece, following a character, Tyler, who is having sessions with his college counselor, Henry, and it sort of takes you on this journey of unpacking the different layers of his life in regards to within education, his family life, friendships. So it takes you on a journey through this intense dialogue about Tyler's life and what we get to learn about his character after every episode. So it spans through 7 episodes, short episodes, but very packed with a lot of information, with a lot of themes that would resonate in everyday life, essentially. So yeah, that's what Stolen Dreams is about.
Amazing. And I wonder who plays Tyler in Stolen Dreams.
Ladies and gentlemen, my turn to do the introduction. The man, the myth, the acting legend, the host, the poet, the actor, entrepreneur, you name it, Ellis Witter, who is also, which camera am I looking at here? Who is also Tyler in Stolen Dreams. And yeah, he did a phenomenal job. Everybody that has watched the series from the cinema to the virtual screenings that we've had have said the same thing in regards to what a wonderful performance by yourself, and shout out to Renford as well for bringing the characters to life, and which was something, it's a new space for me because normally when I write, it's just a page. And then the readers, the audience, they get to imagine these characters and it's just me and them connected. Whereas for me to get to them, I have to get through to the actors.
Of course.
And so that's where your talent comes into play in regards to really bringing the words from the page, which makes me wonder, is like so many films that we've said, oh, it's not a great film. Is it because the script was bad, or is it because you weren't sold on acting? So I think there's probably be a blend of both there. But yeah, Ellis Witter, who plays Tyler, ladies and gentlemen, woo!
Okay, Emeka, I'll stop it. First of all, it made me blush.
Yeah.
I've got to get my intros up, man. That was a great intro.
Thank you.
Damn, I feel all right. Cool.
It was needed.
Thank you.
You did a great job.
And likewise yourself as well, because obviously I couldn't have done what I did without such an amazing script and such an amazing person. And I really want to give a testament before I ask my next question. For you on set as well, because not only were you super professional, you're super amazing, you're super like caring. You cooked for us. That food was amazing. I'm looking forward to the next one. But not only that, you were really supportive, you were really patient. And it was just such an honor just to work with you as well. And kind of follows into my question. How did we meet?
Mandy.com. So I put out a casting call once the script was done, it was finalized. I met with the cinematographer, shout out to Richard Evans, who's a great person. None of this would have happened without him as well. And then, it was now time to find the cast, essentially. So it was put out the casting call for Tyler's character and for Henry's character as well. And when I saw your, what do they call it? What do you guys call it? Actors?
The profiles.
Slideshow.
Real.
Showreel. That's the one.
Showreel, yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, I need to speak to this young man because I see it, what I've written in you. And then, we had a conversation, and there wasn't really an audition process. It was just more of what you sent me through. That was enough. And I was like, that's it. And then we took it from there.
I'm actually really honored because honestly, because as an actor, you're kind of used to doing this whole like audition process of, hi, I have 5 minutes to sell myself, so here's what I can do, and here's a brief conversation. Please pick me. And like sometimes you just never hear from them, and that's an unfortunate way it is. But for you to say that, not only is it so like heartwarming, but it's really just such a testament because, again, this isn't necessarily solely about acting. It's about two people who've kind of just met at a level, had such a great conversation, because I still remember that conversation. I was like, wow, like, yes. And I was like, I'm sold, let's go. From the jump, let's go. And everything else just building upon it, building to not even where we're at, but what we've done is just, it's mind blowing. And my question is, if you were to tell yourself everything that you've done from now, if today's Emeka had a conversation with day one Emeka, what would that conversation look like?
Oh, it's a good question. I think I was talking to somebody about this the other day. No, actually, it was the young people that I'm giving. I'm doing some public speaking training with some young people.
We're going to cover that. We'll get there.
In Haringey. And so one of the speeches that we were doing in our practice session was, it was like, I call it the Scrooge speech, essentially, where the future version of the young people had to write a speech to their current selves. And I was like, what does that look like? What does the future tell you today to do in order to get to that level of success? And so, when you said that question, it just sort of brought me back to that moment. For me, it will be trusting yourself. Because sometimes self-doubt is what stops people from taking action.
True.
And I'm a person that takes calculated risks, and I have 100% confidence in my abilities to do things. And I don't like hearing no's. So there's so many people in lives that are ready to tell you no, but we now live in a day and age where I can skip some of those people and take it straight to the audience directly and let them tell me what they think, essentially. So I guess the difference is I might not be able to reach as much because I don't have the engine behind me to reach the masses, but the people that I do reach, is their impact. How are they speaking about the work that I'm writing, the work that I'm creating, and what impact is it having on their lives? is it influencing people? Is it motivating people? Is it inspiring people? If the answer to that is yes, then I'm going to keep doing what I do because that's what motivates me in regards to not taking no as it's like, okay, it's disappointing, but we go again.
Yeah.
But we move. I don't dwell on the no's, and it's just more of, okay, how do we take this to the next level? Okay, if that's a no, maybe there's a lot more learning that I need to do in order to get better. And so for me, it's just more of taking that risk and knowing that if I don't do this, then there's there's a ripple effect in terms of motivation, inspiration. Somebody doesn't get what they need because I didn't do what I'm supposed to do. So I always think about those type of things.
I was told a lesson when I was younger. No means next opportunity.
Okay.
And again, as an actor, we're very guilty of dwelling and like, oh, damn it, I wanted that role and everything. But when I kind of put that into my subconscious and like kind of made that an ethos in my life, it just, rejection doesn't really faze me anymore.
Yeah, and especially if the rejection comes without any sort of feedback.
Explanation or anything,
Like you're just stuck in limbo thinking, what could it be? Is it is it your talent?
Cypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.
Is it you just don't fit the look that this person has grown in their mind, especially in your profession and acting? It's like, okay, this is the profile, but for whatever reason, especially if it's out of your control, you know, it's always a losing battle essentially. So it's like you can't dwell on that. Whereas I guess for me, it's more about from a creative perspective of as a writer, it's more of a how do I continue to improve? So the writer that I was at the start of Stolen Dreams this time last year, 10 times better in terms of as a writer, because that's a whole year of writing more scripts, getting feedback. And I'm not talking about feedback that inflates your ego. I'm talking about feedback that made you feel like, oh my God, there's a rewrite. And many writers would tell you it's like they dread the rewrite, which is why I spend a lot of time on planning to avoid somebody saying, scrap that and start again.
Yeah.
Like I hated that at school in terms of sometimes I didn't even want my teachers to mark my work because I dreaded the rewrite because it's worse than starting again. It's like, you want me to move that paragraph? You want me to do what? It's like, it's just too much. It feels like more work. I'd rather just start again. So for me, it's how do I plan meticulously so I limit the damage that needs to be done in terms of that rewriting process. But yeah, it's all fun because we are architects of this world that we're creating.
Ooh.
You know, in terms of it's like, oh, okay, I need you to be funny. And so you now have the power of humor. You know, I need you to be dramatic. You now have those you can... And it's being able to not manipulate, but invoke emotions in people through the words that you've written down, and obviously through the talented people that have to bring those words to life. And it's like when people give you that feedback or you see them. I'm in the cinema, I'm not even watching the film, I'm looking at people's faces.
Yeah.
Like just looking at the reaction to that line and how you delivered it. And I know that how excited I was when I was watching it on set. I can't wait for people to see that moment. And then I'm watching people and they get that same feeling that I had. I'm like, okay, yes, this is what we did.
I want to circle back because you just jumped ahead. But I'm going to circle back to this.
Okay.
I'm going to put a plug in it. We're going to circle back to it. So talk about on set, right? You're building up. You've done all this meticulous planning. You've got like, this is what I'm going to do. It's the day of set now. It's the day of filming. Walk us through.
So this is my first project. So a lot of it was learning on the job. I've watched so many YouTube videos, film courage, studio binders in terms of how to act, how to direct actors, how to produce, because obviously I produced all of this by myself. And then having Richard there, who is an experienced cinematographer, to say, okay, this is what we need and so on and so forth. But I'm always good at organizing. I'm good at bringing people together, bringing talented people together. So that's my thing. I'm very organized in terms of spreadsheets, making things happen. So bringing everyone to that day, to that shoot day. Okay, now I can now be creative. But it's like, okay, producer hat off, make sure the food is done, make sure everybody turns up on time. Everybody that needs to be here is here. Now I need to now be the director. I need to now focus on you and Renford in regards to delivering this line. So on the day, I need to shout out to Con Films, who gave us their studio, to shout out to Con, who's a legend, allowed us to be there. So it was very much a welcoming place. We had the whole place to ourselves. So on set, it was great because we could really be ourselves. We had loads of conversations, loads of fun, and just going through the lines and seeing you and Renford sort of bounce off each other easily. And even though I saw this when we did the Zoom reading anyway, so I wasn't even worried about that. But then now seeing you face to face without any sort of rehearsals, it's just a testament to what you guys were able to produce with minimal rehearsals. Just more of, okay, these lines make sense. It reads well. We're good to go. See you on set.
It's good to go.
Yeah, literally.
And it's really funny you say that because I was going to mention something, right?
Yeah.
There was a part in the set, right? This is a little nugget, right? Where we was filming, and I remember you came up to me and was like, Ellis, I need you to cry. And I was like, okay. And I was trying to get in the moment and I'm trying to cry. And you're like, no. And we're doing all this little like meticulous little talks and intricate thing. I won't spoil it, but I just remember those sort of conversations as well. It's like, okay, cool. And it's like, no, okay, we're going to do this now. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And it was just such a roller coaster. But again, just to show as a testament, because you made it really safe and you made it really fun. It wasn't just like, cry. It was like, okay, now we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And we're going to like
try this
work
technique and
to
try
it.
that
And it was
technique.
so fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun to explore as an actor and as a performer. And I just wanted to say that as well, because it was just such a testament as well. And I think it made it a better product.
Yeah.
Because I felt happier with myself and my performance. And I think I can say the same for Renford.
Yeah.
So massive shout out to you.
Yeah, and I think and what I had to remember is like, this is your place of work at the end of the day. It's like you're on set, and as within your profession, this is your place of work. So people do their best work when they feel like they belong, when they feel safe, when they feel like they want to be there, essentially. And so it's, how I am is what you see is what you get in terms of this is me. So if we've got that sort of connection, this is me being genuine. And I'm just a natural person. I'm a natural giver in terms of acts of service, because that's how I like to be loved, if you want to call it that, in regards to, like, I don't need presents, but just the little things that you can just do for me, even without me asking, goes a long way. And so it's like, okay, I'm gonna wake up early and I'm gonna cook this fried rice for everybody on set.
The food was banging. I remember, was it the first day or the second day?
It's the first day.
The first day, I was like, yeah, this is worth it. This is worth it.
Plantain as well.
Oh
and
my
the chicken.
goodness. Yep.
Yeah,
please.
so it's just all those little things that hopefully just made it more of a
did.
family vibe, just relaxed, so you can do your best work and just to have a good time, because we're spending 12 hours together. So like, you wouldn't want to spend that much time with people that you don't get along with, because it's now, okay, I finished my scene, let me just go and sit on my phone somewhere and ignore everyone. I didn't want it to be like that. So if you just get everybody together and
And can you mention briefly about the schedule in terms of filming?
So 7 episodes. So this is where my inexperience comes into hand. I speaking to Richard and I was like, can we do this in 2 days? Because as the producer of my producer hat on, I'm like, I need to save some money.
Of course.
I need to save some money. And he was like, realistically, that's not going to work. So it's like, okay, what do we do now? Okay, 3 days. We have to make 3 days work. We have to make 3 days work. And so literally in January 2024, we filmed episode 1 and 2 on day 1 and episode 3 and 4 in day 2. And that's all I'd written at that time, actually. Remember, at episode 5, 6, and 7 hadn't been written, but I've planned it. I knew what it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have time to write it yet, because don't forget, I was doing my master's at the same time. So I had 3 assignments due at the time.
Hey.
3 assignments due. I had 2 academic papers, a short film that I needed to write, plus the reflective essay for that short film, all before Christmas. Oh, just after Christmas. And then we were shooting a few weeks after Christmas. So in my head, I wanted to write all 7, but I couldn't. I had to stop at the 4, because we've already committed to the 4 dates. We just filmed in January. And so, yeah, we did those first 2 dates, and it just turned out really well. And I was really excited from what I saw. And I think it probably helped shape how I made changes to episode 5, 6, and 7, mainly because, okay, I now started to understand from an acting perspective, hearing the dialogue, how I need to make subtle changes.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier for yourself to read, so the words flow out better, because even on set for episode 1 to 4, we're making slight changes because some of the words didn't sound natural. And sometimes you only get that once you're hearing it out. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
And I love it because you were very intricate with it as well, like very sort of receptive to feedback and as well. Because I was like, Emeka, this line doesn't really.
I'm a student,
but that's what's so.
I'm
amazing.
a light student, you know.
But that's what's so amazing because it's like I didn't even know that you had assignments due.
Yeah.
And we're just out here just doing this. And we're like, cool, let's do it. Okay, cool. I'm crying now. Okay, cool. And I just remember again sort of the intricate of like when we did the chess game, and you were like, no, we need to actually do the chess game, because a lot of people would be like, just whatever, innit?
Yeah.
But like, no. 'Cause I remember you saying like, there are people who watch it, right? And I do remember, fast forwarding a little bit here, there was someone who was watching it that were like, yeah, the chess game makes sense.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was like, thank you, man.
I'm like, no, because I love chess. And then I think a few years ago during COVID, not the greatest show, but a great show came out, The Queen's Gambit. I'm not sure if you saw it. And like people that really enjoyed chess, like every move made sense, and it was very meticulous, and it encouraged more people to want to play chess. And I was like, okay, even if we're going to have this small segment here, let it make sense.
Oh yeah,
let them see the board. And so it's like I had to figure it out.
But that little comment, me hearing that was like, okay, like it has to be so intricate because people are watching. People are going to be like, that doesn't make sense. I'm not watching this anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the truth. But like everything kind of made sense. So I'm really grateful that that process did happen as well. And even the schedule as well, it was quite crazy. But it was really fun. The most fun I've had in a while. But yeah, so now post-production, walk us through.
So in April, we now shot the last 3 episodes, which went great.
Cypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.
We managed to squeeze 3 in one day, isn't it?
One day.
Yeah, just the one day. So yeah, we managed to squeeze 3 into one day, make it happen. So some of the shots that we wanted to do, naturally, we couldn't do some of the close-ups and so on and things. So, but due to the equipment that we had, we made it work in post-production.
Yep.
And then after that, it was just down to Rich, who turned from cinematographer into the editor.
Yeah.
And so we would now go back and forth in regards to, he would send me all of the rushes.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, okay, I want this. He delivered the line better here in the close-up or the wide, and so on and so forth.
And for those of us who don't know what rushes is, because that's technical talk, just in case. So we're all in the one page.
Yeah. Do you want to explain it?
You explain it, bro.
Okay,
This is
so rushes is just literally just each take, like the different takes from the day, essentially. And so I was setting that, so I'm going through all of them and then sending him back the timelines, the clips, the rushes that should be in the final edits. And then he goes and does his thing. And then he'll now send me sort of like the draft. I'll look through it. And I'm like, okay, something's missing. This line doesn't really work here. Okay. And so we're just going back and forth for a period of time. And then when we were happy with it, it was like sound became an issue. So obviously you remember the day, it's like we had so many different noise things going on that we couldn't control, essentially. And We didn't have a dedicated sound person, which is another learning. It's just somebody to really focus, because then allows the Richard to just do what he does best. Somebody to just focus on the sound. So that became an issue. And then it's like, okay, we've got great picture, but I can't stand bad sound.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Sound is everything.
Yeah, I can't stand it. So it's like literally all of this. I don't know. It's like, it sounded like air conditioning. There was banging and all of these different things that was happening behind the scenes. So now I had to find a sound engineer who can help us in post production to fix some of those issues. So not in the budget, but it had to be part of the budget, because I needed to work. We've come this far.
Yeah.
You know, and literally at this point, we're 1 week away from the first screening. So it's like, okay, I need somebody to do this. And then the most annoying thing is the first sound engineer that I found, he did the work, but then we needed changes. Then he just disappeared. No communication, not messaging back. And then I had to now cut my losses, find somebody else. And then we found Darcy, who was great, who managed to do even better than the first person, who was in constant communication. And then, yeah, we were good to go. And then, yeah.
So now I kind of wanted to rewind just a little bit, because it sounds like you're like a madman. It's like, okay, cool, now we're going to do screening, and we're not even done yet and everything. But it's like, there is a bigger plan to all of this, right? And again, you mentioned the screening. Can you like walk us through the screening, how it was, the technical issues you faced? Was this like your first screening, or like how did this screening come to fruition?
So I'm no stranger to events. So I've written 4 books. Each of my book, there's been an event attached to them. So my first book launch was in 2011, and that was centered around poetry. So I had about 7 to 8 poets who came on that day. George the Poet was there. This is before he became George the Poet. So I think
I take credit for that.
No, like he was already on his way there. Like he was phenomenal. And I just knew from when I found his work and when I invited him to come down, I just knew that he's doing something different with his poetry that I just feel like is going to resonate with a lot of people. So that evening was, yes, I'm launching my book, but it was just more of a platform to showcase young people who were talented as well. So that was my first. Second book, Community Hall, I had about 150 people there. So this was now based on artists. So I put out a call months before. So my book was called Ambitions of the Deprived. So I said to artists, I need you to paint a picture of whatever comes to your mind when you hear that title, with a brief synopsis of what the story is about. And then I had about 20, 30 submissions. And so then we now turned my book launch into an exhibition / book launch. So all of these young peoples who created all of this great work were now displayed on the day. And then the one that I really liked, I now used that to now become a special edition cover of that book, essentially. So again, that night, I had 150 people there. It wasn't just about me. It was about all of these other talented young people. And then my third book, similar. This was my biggest one, the Hackney Empire. 750 people. This book is called My Sister's Pain. And this one was about celebrating sisterhood. Celebrating sisterhood. So all of the performers, speakers were all women. So from the elder generation to the younger generation, poets, dancers, singers, comedians, you name it. It was just about them. I was on stage for literally 10 minutes at the end where the host, Ramel, brought me up, told me to come on stage, and had a moment with one of the singers. And then it was just about the women, and especially dedicating it to all of the women in my life that had been very influential, like my mother, my auntie, my sisters, and Jeanette and Carlene, who are the founders of the youth club that I went to from when I was 13. And now I'm at the board. I'm the chair of the board of that organization. So that was huge. That was my biggest event. Then that was a big up, and then I had a big down. So my last book, Ikenna, I was trying to do something similar because it's based around fatherhood. So I rented out the Grand in Clapham Junction, put out this wonderful lineup. This is just post-COVID, but everything has changed. The dynamics of events, everything has changed. So I've now invested all this money. Capacity is about 560 people. An evening dedicated to fathers, poets, speakers speaking on fatherhood issues, because this book is based on fatherhood. And where I wrote this book as well, like I wrote it in hospital, you know, by my daughter's bedside, because she was born premature. So it meant a lot to me as a father, being a father for the second time, but having to go through all of this trauma. But writing and storytelling was my escape, surrounded by beeps in the ICU for 7 months, you know? So I really wanted to do this event, but then it didn't pick up. Like, nobody was buying the tickets, and then I had to cut my losses, essentially. So then that just became a very public, like, I put it out there to sell tickets, and then I had to come out and say, unfortunately, I didn't try to hide behind it due to unforeseen circumstances. I'm like, people were not interested like that, and it happens, like, you know, and I took it. And so again, you see what I'm saying by risks throughout progression, gone from 50, 150, 750, 500, 600, and that one didn't work out. So then I've said, okay, I'm no more writing books. I'm going to now write for the screen. And Stolen Dreams wasn't ever supposed to get to what it became. We got to that stage because I was ready to just film it on my phone. I was just ready to film it with, rent some cameras from Fat Llama and just do it myself. Yeah. But then I found Richard, and then he came with Hollywood style cameras and equipment. Yeah. And then you saw the footage, and I was like, okay, this is good enough to do something with. Of course. And so that's when I was like, okay, when I saw the edits, when I started seeing the clips, I was like, I'm just gonna do a screening. And it's not about, because I haven't asked for permission to do all of the other things before. Like, I didn't ask anybody to say, oh, do you think I can do Hackney Empire? Shout out to Robin Travis, who was part of
Big G.
Yeah, you know Robin. Yeah, so he conquered Hackney Empire, you know, many times, and the Bernie Grant. So he just fed the idea into me, and he's more known in terms of in his circles, just known in general. So he had people that would turn up. So I just like, could I do that? But then we did. So then that level of fear was now put to the side in regards to them taking a risk. So when it now came to, okay, can I fill a room full of 150 people, 200 people for a screening, which is a different medium? I was like, yeah, why not? Because this is supposed to be easier. It's hard, you know, it's hard to sell a book. You know, that's one of the hardest things to do.
Imagine, I've got 2 of them. Gosh.
You know, because when someone buys your book, they're buying your undivided attention.
Facts.
So beyond, I'm just buying the book, I'm supporting. Yeah. Like, I know so many people who've bought my book that they're just not going to read it. It's just the support. It's in the shelf, whatever, they're not going to read it. But then you now get the people that buy it with the intention to read it. Yeah. And they actively give you feedback because they've got your number. And it's like, oh my God, I've read it. And then it's like, they give you the feedback. So it's like, but that's somebody dedicating minimum 5 to 6 hours, depending on the length of your book, of undivided attention. Whereas this medium is different. It's a lazy medium, isn't it? You just sit back and you just enjoy the show. Watch, you don't need to, it's in that moment, and you can get direct feedback because you've watched it. So I'm like, if I can do all of what I've done before based on the idea of a book, then I can definitely do that in this medium of just visual storytelling. And so that's when the idea of doing the screenings, getting people in the room and having a conversation with yourselves and the other actors came into fruition. And then, yeah, man, you can talk on what happened because you experienced the rest.
And then, since Emeka likes to downplay this stuff and I have to hype him up, not only did we sell out.
Nearly sold out. I think
basically
10
sold
short,
out.
10 short.
Okay, basically sold out. Basically sold out. Yeah. Genesis Cinema. You did a second screening.
Yeah.
At Genesis Cinema as well. Which not only is really inspiring, because first of all, you can only imagine how many people who are filmmakers or anything want to do a screening. But to do a screening back to back It's just something you did. You could accomplish. You say, tick that, right? It's so inspiring because you've now created this Stolen Dreams baby. And now it's turned into something so like a child, a child grows up and you're like, whoa, like when did you get a beard? And you know what I mean? Like, so it's now become this massive thing, which you're like, wow. And to see it initially, not necessarily from birth, but, to see it from young to where it is now and to be as dedicated and as helpful as I've hopefully have been, it's just such a testament. It's so beautiful to see because I've got so many positive feedback and messages as well.
How was it for you at the screening?
It was
because you was the main man. You was getting all that. I could see you was humbled. You was getting all this love from so many different people, like the OGs, the young people. That everybody just kept coming up to you and just saying you did such a fantastic job, which I've been saying from day one anyway. So how was it for you?
I'm meant to be interviewing you.
Listen, there's 2 mics. It doesn't say interview or anywhere here.
You got me there. It was surreal. It was so surreal. I've done screenings before, but it's just something so humbling about it. Something just so, because again, as actors, I think one of my mentors, Toye, said this. It's like we are like one of the second highest professions where we are solely reliant on other people's opinions on us, right? Because that's what acting is. We're professional pretenders, right? It's like, can I sell you this and you believe this? And it's we've kind of put our heart on the line in this. So to see all of this feedback as well, because you're watching this and you're like, I remember this and I remember that, and oh gosh. But the feedback, it's so humbling to see. I've had people crying, and you're like, wow, okay, wow, thanks. But just in such a humbling way. We had young people there as well who you've seen it and hopefully are inspired. I feel like that's what my purpose is, to help show people like, yo, this is possible as well. And I feel like that's why we kind of align a lot, because we give, without sort of expectation, but we give knowing that we can make things better. So to see that as well, to see how many people are inspired, I had a couple of friends there, people from my previous course as well, who were like, wow, like this is amazing. People who are kind of new to the industry as well, to again show them, not like ego wise, but just to show them this is possible. You don't have to rely on other people. You don't have to, wait for this grand, massive opportunity. You can take something and build it into what it is now. It's so amazing and it's just so humbling. So lean on to my next question, which I hope that I've answered that question.
You did. It's not for me because I know the answer. It's just for
but it's still something that when you sort of recollect and you're like, rah, like so much has happened. And it's not necessarily about numbers to me. It's just about impact. So kind of leaning into my next question. Speaking of numbers, speaking of impact, let's talk about Stolen Dreams Part 2. Is there a Part 2?
Do you know what? Everything happens for a reason. I was contemplating on whether to do the second screening. Before that second screening, there wasn't a Part 2. It was just how it ended without any spoilers. How it ended, it was just more of an opportunity to tell the story about Tyler and using this medium of dialogue. And we did it. We did it successfully. We just wanted to try and get as many people to watch it as possible. And so it's like, again, being a risk taker. Okay, we're going to invest this money again in terms of hiring a space. Needed to sell the tickets. So it's like, as soon as you pay that deposit, now the pressure's on. You need to now advertise. You need to sell tickets. You need to try and get people out their houses where they have access to Netflix, Prime, Disney, Paramount, just you name it. So many things. YouTube, unlimited content, essentially. So anytime you can get people to pay for something, I'm just humbled. Whether it's 10, whether it's 100, whether it's 200, I'm just humbled by the act of just, people just coming out and just supporting local talent, local work. And so after the second, I had a conversation with Emeka, who's like a namesake of mine, and we were just talking after the screening, and I think some of your boys was there at that second screening as well. And so we're just having these conversations, and through 2 or 3 conversations where everybody's asking me, so is there going to be a second one? in my head, I was like, no, this is it. I need to focus on other scripts, and then we're going to still push this as far as we can because of all of the impact that we want to get out of it. And then on my way home, I was like, hold on. Hold on. And anyone that knows me knows once that seed is planted,
that feeling there.
It's like I get excited, but then I have to test it.
Yeah.
You have to test the story because not every story needs to be written, not every story needs to be told.
Yeah.
Especially if there's no meaning, if there's no subtext, if there's nothing that carries it. So then I've gone home and I've just do what I do in terms of just putting like my mind map, okay, connect it to there, connect it to there, connect it to there. And then if all the dots connect, then it works. Yeah. That's my method.
Yeah.
All the dots connected. I was like, okay.
Damn it. More money.
We're going again, and this time we're going again. And so, and that process happened. So throughout, when did I start writing it? So I finished planning it. So my final assignment for my master's was due August the 13th. I'm supposed to be, it's a feature film, and I've got this dissertation academic.
Cypher Films is an independent production company based in Enfield, London, UK. We produce documentaries, short feature films, social media videos, and provide photography studio space for weddings, christenings, and corporate videos.
Essay that needs to go with this 100-page script. So it's like, that's happening.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, it's like, my mind is like, put this story down. Because you like, if not. So I was like, okay, I'm going to submit this work. But before that, I need to flesh this out. I know it's going to be this amount of episodes.
Yeah.
These are the characters. I need to flesh them out. And so then I just done my normal planning. And so I planned it, left it. Okay, when I submit this work, then I'll come back to it. Fast forward, it's done. All the episodes are written. We're here. We're going again. We're officially in development.
For Stolen Dreams Part 2.
Yes. And tell them your new role. Tell them your role in this.
First of all, nice little applause. You tell them your new role.
Ellis Witter is now a producer for Stolen Dreams 2. So, I just wanted to keep the energies, synergies going. He's a young man that I highly respect. And I think that your trajectory is going to go far and wide. I just believe you just need to keep putting in the work, keep doing what you're doing. You've got a strong head on your shoulders. You're inspiring other people your age and even older in what you're doing. And I just wanted you to continue to be part of this brand, part of this story that we're telling, and to have an official capacity from behind the scenes and to give you more experience, for you to add your experience to the work as well and just stay connected to it. So, yeah.
Thank you. I'm really honored. Because I remember when you called me or texted me and you told me, and I was like, oh my gosh. It's such an honor. It really is. And that's why I say, you asked me earlier about what was how did I react? Well, I was just like, I'm so humbled. I'm so honored because it's something that it just keeps fleshing itself out, and you realize the role you play in it, and you're like, wow, like to even have this role, to even bring people in, to even like help others and just be a part of this amazing vision and connect with everyone. It's just so humbling. It's just so amazing. And, again, you mentioned earlier about all the streaming platforms and getting people to leave their house. I look at, it's life as well, life, we get carried away with so many different things. There's jobs, there's, relationships, there's all these different things that we get like pulled apart in. But at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is purpose. And you know what I mean? To do things where you're like, this makes me really happy. This is an opportunity I'm really grateful for. It really kind of just reshifts life for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just really honored. I'm really honored that you even wrote a part 2, you know? Because I remember having the conversation. Something I didn't mention earlier was when we did the part 2 the screening.
Yeah.
I was actually like injured and sick, right? So I was on like a heart monitor.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why I thought being on a heart monitor at a screening was a great idea. But I was, and that's the honest truth. Because then I remember us having a conversation outside, and then I saw that little ding, and I was like, oh snap.
What's going on there?
And then we had a little like, and I was like, okay, cool. But I was on a high from the evening, in it, so I was like, cool. Yeah. Couple of days later, and it's happening. All right, cool.
Yeah. Because for it to even happen, to get to that stage, it's like I said, you need to elevate and try and do better than you did in the first one in regards to the writing, the story that you're telling, and obviously visually in terms of if we can take the production value up as well, within the new budget that I'm working with, then let's do it. Because I think once everybody sees the full package, season 1, season 2, then they'll really understand what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because the impact will be far and wide, without giving too much away. And sometimes there's more than one way to get through to people.
100%.
You know, some people do it through comedy, through music, through mentoring, one-to-one coaching. Films does it to a lot of people as well. So the type of person that I am, who's just been a natural teacher all my adult life in terms of working with young people in different capacities. It's telling stories that can help change lives. And, you know, my first book is called Consequences. That process of cause and effect, stopping to think about the decision that you're about to take, essentially, you know, and that goes right into adulthood. It's like sometimes you have to stop and say, oh, that's not the right move. And it's called critical thinking, critical reflection, and which is one of my big things as a teacher. Is just my main job when you come into my classroom is, have you thought? I need you to think. It's not just about me being there and giving the lecture. I need everyone to engage in the act of thinking. So it's like students tend to suss out their teachers when it comes to, they're always going to ask the people that put their hands up, essentially. But everyone knows me. I've got my wheel of names.
Okay.
So
no one's safe.
Nobody's safe. So everybody's name is on there, and then I spin that wheel. It means it can land on you. But what happens when that wheel is spinning, everybody's thinking of their answer because it could be you. There's no teacher bias now. The algorithm's going to pick. So I would need you to process of thinking. So even if it doesn't land on you, you've already thought of an answer. Hopefully that's the plan anyway. Because when I do, if it does fall on you, now I need the answer. I need you to share it to everybody else.
That's brilliant.
So yeah, just think, and that's my thing. Is I just need people to think, and so it's like if I can do that and achieve that with my writing as well, then happy days.
That's brilliant, and that's like a nice little brilliant little nugget for teachers as well.
Yeah.
I got 2 more final questions. Cool. First of all, before I answer the question, if anyone has seen season 1, they know how amazing this object is. And you mentioned, you know, having your books and everything as well. My question is, what is a legacy you want to leave?
I'll start from home. My daughters, I've got 3 daughters. I'm now at the stage where my eldest, she's read 3 or 4 of my books. So there's different points where I was writing it, and she was obviously very young, and I just knew that further down the line, my daughter's going to read my books. Yeah. And seeing her read it, getting her having conversations about it. So that's that in terms of this is what I was capable of doing, and nobody gave me permission to do it. Nobody has invested in me to do it. I have learned how to do this. Taught myself how to elevate my work to a professional standard. And took the risk essentially. And so it's like, don't let anybody tell you no. And then another thing that I said is like, in a message to, this is my second book. It was to my daughter at the time and to my godson Malachi, and it was, do not let the voice of self-doubt play louder than the voice that created ambition in the first place. Because it happens every day. It's like that, oh, I'm not good enough. It can get loud.
Yes.
And it can get deafening. And
Yeah.
then it's like a lot of people allow that voice that's internal. Plus when you now add other people who turn up the volume of that
Yeah.
by adding their fears onto you. Oh,
Yeah.
do you really want to? I remember somebody said to me, you really want to write a book? Do people even read still? This is my first book in 2010 when I was writing it. But that one was so close to home and the context around writing it, I was like, even if I have to give it away, then so be it.
Yeah.
And up till today, it's like, it's probably not the best business financial move, but the amount of books that I've given away to under 18s, and I just need a promise from them. Just promise me you're going to read it. Oh, here you go. Take it. So for me, to answer your question, the legacy is to show that it's, yes, I can. Yeah. And that don't doubt yourself. Things will get hard, but ultimately be disciplined. Be disciplined, be consistent, because motivation comes and goes, isn't it? We all know this. It's like we have many motivational speakers on YouTube that keep pumping that message, but it's true. Yeah. It's like the act of discipline is why I've been able to do everything that I've done. Like I was talking to my wife the other day, and we were just kind of replaying everything that I've done over the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's a good exercise. Yeah,
and I was like, wow. Yeah. Like I've had 2 kids within that 5 years. Got 2 degrees. I've written a book. I've written about 4 or 5 scripts, and I've made one film, about to make another. And people ask, where do you find the time? I was like, I make the time because it's important to me. And it's important that my children and the people around me sees the amount of effort that I put into what I'm doing. Plus I love to do it. So like I have work, I have all of these things, but then this is my purpose. I know that I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be a storyteller, hence the name Stories by Emeka. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I've done many jobs. You name it, I've done it. Yeah. Like, I remember my first job when I was 15 was cleaning offices with one of my aunts. This is one of the reasons why I respect cleaners, because I was that ghost cleaner. At 15, I was like, this person, I've just cleaned their desk. They probably never know who I am, anything about me. Yeah. But just by looking at their desk, I know a little bit more about them because of their pictures and all of these things there. So it's like when I now became the person that had the desk, I had my office, and then the next morning my office is clean. I had thank you notes that I say to the cleaners when I see them. You're not invisible. Do you know what I mean? You're not invisible to me. I see you. Yeah. So it's like I've done many jobs, and I've always been down to earth in regards to doing whatever it takes. For yourself, for your family, until you need to elevate to where you're supposed to be doing. But in those moments, I remember even when I was doing security in 2008, and I remember reading Robert Kiyosaki's book for the first time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. A lot of the men that I was working with at the time were in their 40s and their 50s, and they looked depressed doing this job. But for me, I knew that I'm here for 6 months, a year, and because I just couldn't do retail. Like, I'm still trying to get into my career, but let me be in a job where I can still read, I can do my job or whatever, but I knew that this is not it. At the time, and that's no disrespect to anyone that if it's your full-time thing and that's what you do, that's great. But I just knew that wasn't my destination. And so for me, it's just more about consistency, discipline, and just doing what you're supposed to do, because if not, you might feel like something's missing. And in those moments where I'm doing some of these jobs that I know it's for the moment and it's to solve this problem, there was a part of me that just felt like something's missing. I'm not fulfilling my talent. Because as a person, as a deep thinker, it's like I said, that light bulb that you saw, we could be talking at that moment, but I'm not there.
Exactly.
Like that's my physical being is with you, Ellis.
I clocked it. I clocked
But
it.
I'm no longer there
Yeah.
because I'm gone. Because now my
Yeah.
mind is I'm putting the dots together without my pen and paper at hand. Like that's literally what's happening. I'm putting the dots together. And so when I'm in jobs where I know that this is not my final destination, and you're not able to do those things, you can get depressed. You can feel down. You can like, you know, and so these are the things. And so it's like now I'm in a position where the work that I'm doing is as impactful because it's still centered around supporting young people. So in my day job, I'm still able to fulfill that purpose, but also fulfill a purpose of which I am in charge of, which is my talent, and that's writing.
That's such an amazing answer. I'm gonna need a book of like all your quotes and everything. That should be the next book, okay? I want this out next year. I want a book of all your quotes and all of this sort of amazing little nuggets and everything. Because honestly, bro, that is fantastic, beyond amazing as well. And you almost left me speechless there because I had to try and catch that what I was trying to say. My last question, which we kind of touched upon, but we're going to go a little bit deeper. I'm going to ask you to. Hopefully it'll catch you off guard. Is what's next?
Boy, you know what's next. We're working on what's next.
Bar that.
Yeah. Stolen Dreams 2 is what's next, which is great. And I've got some feature films, pilot series that goes way beyond what one man can do at this point in regards to budgets and things. So it's networking, getting in the right spaces, sharing those scripts with the right people, and seeing what happens essentially. But the idea is to just keep writing, like to get better. I just need to keep doing this to get better in my craft. I need to keep doing this because this is a different style of writing. It's a different type of writing. It's one that I'm still learning from. If you go on my YouTube algorithm, it's just full of screenwriter, or table tennis actually. screenwriter, table tennis, screenwriter, film courage, how to direct, how to just immersed. And it's almost ruining my experience of watching films because I just see, like my wife now says, please don't psychoanalyze it. Can we just watch the film? I don't care about sound design. What do you mean sound
I'm
design?
the same with acting. I'm there like, I could do that.
Yeah. Or for instance, now that as a screenwriter, you can see the setups.
Yeah.
In dialogue. Sorry. And she's like, you know what's going to happen, isn't it? I'm like, yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And sometimes it's just like, okay, I'm just trying to switch off and just watch this. And normally that happens with action films. Just like, let me just switch off the plot and just take in what it is for what it is at the moment.
So for those of us, the audience, who want to find you on social media, who want to look into buying your books, who want to even maybe book you for some public speaking gigs or anything like that, where can we find you?
Everything is Stories by Emeka. So website, storiesbymeka.com. So it's still active right now, but I'm still rebuilding the website because I want to update it a little bit. So you can find me on there and on Instagram, TikTok. It's catching dust, but yeah, it's all Stories by Emeka. You'll find all my stuff. On there.
And your books.
Yeah, it's all on there. Or if you just type in Emeka and my full name on Amazon, it's all on there as well. So yeah.
Emeka, thank you so much, bro.
It's all good, man.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on the podcast.